We begin the Gemara on the bottom of Daf Chavtes Amud Beis, the last line. So the Gemara quotes what it said in the Mishnah: Omru loi, echad yavne ve'echad kol makim sheyesh by bezdin. That they said to Rabbi Lazar, that when Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai made the takana after the Churban Beis Hamikdash that you can blow shofar on Rosh Hashanah that falls out in Shabbos, that takana was for any place where there's a bezdin, not only in the city of Yavne where there's a bezdin like the Sanhedrin, the bezdin of 71. Amar Avones, what Avones says about this, ve'im bezdin, but it has to be with bezdin. That's where you blow it. So the Gemara explains, my ve'im bezdin. What does it mean with bezdin? B'fnei bezdin. You only can blow the shofar in front of bezdin. Lafuk shalei b'fnei bezdin, but you can't blow it if it's not in front of the bezdin. Right. So in other words, in the city of Yavne or in any other place where there's a bezdin, it has to be in front of the bezdin where it's blown, but not in front of the bezdin. Fragt the Gemara Masav Rav asked the question, what did it say in our Mishnah? The last part of our Mishnah, it said, V'oid zois hoisa Yerushalayim Yiseira al Yavna. That here's another point that Yerushalayim was better than Yavna regarding blowing the shofar. What did it say in our Mishnah? That in Yavna they could only blow in Yavna by the Bezdin, and perhaps according to Rav Huna, and in Yerushalayim, even the cities around Yerushalayim that were close enough, you can blow as well. Now the main point the Gemara is going to focus on over here is, what's this word v'oid? V'oid sounds like that this is another advantage Yerushalayim has over Yavna. What's the first advantage? It didn't say in the Mishnah. So my v'oid zois. What is this expression of v'oid zois? This is another advantage. If it's just this one point that it actually says in the Mishnah, zois mi bayale. The Mishnah should just say here, this is the advantage Yerushalayim has over Yavna. There's no second point there. Ella, so therefore what we might say is as follows. The Yerushalayim toikin yechidin. In Yerushalayim, any individual could go and blow the shofar. In other words, not only the shliach of Bezdin could blow the shofar, but any individual can blow the shofar in the city of Yerushalayim when it falls out in Shabbos. Will be Yavne, but in the city of Yavne, ain't toikin yechidin. Over there, an individual can't blow the shofar. Only the shliach of the Bezdin is the one that blows the shofar when it falls out in Shabbos. That's what you might want to say. But the Gemara asks on this and says that's not true. Or b'Yavne ain't taking yechidin, and in Yavne can individuals not blow shofar? But v'hakiyasa Rav Yitzchak bar Yosef. So when Rav Yitzchak bar Yosef came, he said, ki misayim shlicha de tzibure tekiye b'Yavne. When the shliach tzibur, in other words, the shliach of Bezdin, finished blowing the shofar for everybody in the city of Yavne, so leishama inish koil une, a person cannot hear any sound in his ears. Mikael to kuiya the yechidoi, because of the sound of all the individuals there that were blowing shofar for themselves. What does this mean over here? So after the shliach bezdin blew shofar for everyone, so then other people would blow shofar for themselves. The yechidim individuals would blow the shofar for themselves. So what do we see over here? That not only the shliach bezdin is blowing the shofar, everybody's blowing the shofar for themselves. Now, why were these people blowing shofar for themselves? Either the reason is because they couldn't hear the shofar well, so they weren't yaitza properly, so they wanted to blow for themselves. That's one pshat. Another pshat that Rishonim say is that this is the Gemara, which is a source for the concept that we do today, that after we finish blowing and after Musaf, we blow again shofar, another 30 kailis, la'arve v'sasatan, to confuse the satan. So too, over here, after they blew the shofar, and they were yaitza the mitzvah, but everybody would then blow for themselves again to be ma'arve the satan. The point is, we see that every individual blew shofar. Elo, so that's not the pshat. That's not the distinction between Yavne and Yerushalayim. Elo lav, don't you think the pshat is as follows? Dib Yerushalayim, in the city of Yerushalayim, taken, so they would blow shofar, bein bizman bezdin, in the time when bezdin sits in their place in session. What's the zman of bezdin? So Rashi brings, the zman of bezdin was until chatzais, until 6 hours in the day, that's when bezdin sits. And bein shaloi bizman bezdin, and you can blow shofar even after 6 hours in the days when bezdin already left and bezdin went home already. That's in Yerushalayim. Or b'Yavne, but in the city of Yavne, bizman bezdin in, when bezdin until 6 hours in the day when bezdin sits in their place, then you can blow the shofar. Shaloi bizman bezdin, but if it's not in the time of bezdin, loy, then you can't blow shofar. So that's the difference between Yerushalayim and Yavne. But what's the point? What do you see from this? If this is going to be the pshat, then so ha bizman bezdin. If it's a time when bezdin is sitting in session, so miyat taikin, you can blow the shofar even in the city of Yavne. Va'afilu shalei b'fnei bezdin, even if you're not in front of the bezdin. Right? So the reason why the Gemara is saying this is because this is what it seems like from the report that Rav Yitzchak Bar Yosef said before, that even Yechidim would blow. It's mashma, Yechidim would blow wherever they were. They wasn't dafka over there b'fnei bezdin. Everybody would blow shofar for themselves. So it's mashma that everyone would blow whatever they wanted. Elamai, what's the point? They would blow in the city of Yerushalayim. They were allowed to blow in the first half of the day, in the second half of the day, even when the bezdin went back home. But in Yavne, they would only blow in the time when bezdin is sitting in session. But they could blow wherever they want. Not like Rav Huna said that it's only b'fnei bezdin. So the Gemara answers, Loi, that's not the pshat. The ilu b'Yerushalayim, in the city of Yerushalayim, Taikin, they can blow the shofar on the Rosh Hashanah that's on Shabbos, ben b'fnei bezdin, ben shaloi b'fnei bezdin. Whether they're in front of the bezdin, whether not in front of the bezdin, anywhere in the city. Or b'Yavne, but in Yavne, b'fnei bezdin in front of the bezdin they could blow shofar. Shaloi b'fnei bezdin, loi, but if it's not in front of the bezdin, they can't blow the shofar. Exactly like Rav Huna said. So in other words, this that we said before, that Yechidim would blow shofar, yeah, individuals would blow shofar. Not only the shliach of the bezdin, but where? Where though would they blow the shofar? They would only blow the shofar in front of the bezdin. Everybody could blow, but it has to be there in front of the bezdin, not in any other place. Yeah, in Yerushalayim, they could blow wherever they want, but in Yavne, it has to be dafke in front of the bezdin. That's the way Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai instituted it. Now the Gemara brings a whole other version of what Rav Huna said, and this is about Yovel. So there's others that said that this, as Rav Huna said, was referring to this pasuk here. By Yovel it says, that in Yom Kippur and Yovel you have to blow the shofar in all of your land. What does B'chol Artzchem mean? From here we learn that in Yovel, every individual on Yom Kippur has to blow the shofar. That's what B'chol Artzchem means. Not only the bezdin, but every individual has to blow shofar on Yovel. Now, on Rav Huna qualified and said, V'im bezdin. That yes, everybody has to blow, but only with bezdin. What does with bezdin mean? My V'im bezdin. So what does it mean with bezdin? Bizman bezdin. It means in the time when bezdin sits in session, in the first half of the day. Lafuke shaloi bizman bezdin. And this excludes the second half of the day when it's not the time that bezdin is sitting in session. So Rashi here says, over here when Rav Huna said with bezdin, it can't mean that it's only in front of bezdin, because it says in the pasuk b'chol artzachem that you have to blow in all your land, all over. So that means not only in front of bezdin. So what did Rav Huna mean when he said with bezdin? It means that you blow in the first half of the day when bezdin is in session, not in the second half of the day. That's the halacha that Rav Huna said regarding Yovel. So this the Gemara asks. It's a separate thing, nothing to do. This is a din of Yom Kippur, Yovel, and Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur and Yovel, even when it falls out in Shabbos. Masav Rav, so Rav asks a question. So it says as follows in the Braisa here: Tkiyas Rosh Hashanah v'Yovel doiches Shabbos. To blow shofar and Rosh Hashanah and Yovel is doiches Shabbos begvulin, even outside the Beis Hamikdash. Ish ubeisai, for a man and his house. Now, what does this ish ubeisai mean? My ish ubeisai. What does it mean that it's doiches Shabbos for a person, for a man and his house? Now, usually beisai means for the person and his wife. Does it mean here like it usually means? That a man and his wife can also blow shofar on Rosh Hashanah that falls out in Shabbos. How could you say this? It's a mi mechayve. Is a woman chayiv to blow shofar? This is a mitzvah say that is for a particular time. The women are exempt of this mitzvah. So when it says ish u beisai, it can't be referring to his wife. Elalav. So don't you think the pshat here is ish bebeisai, that every person can blow shofar, and this is on Rosh Hashanah, and this is also Yovel, which is what we're speaking about now, blowing shofar on Yom Kippur and Yovel in his house, and he can blow whenever he wants in his house, even not in the first half of the day, the time when Bezdin is in session. So the Gemara answers, Loi lam bisman bezdin. Yes, you're right. It means that everyone can blow shofar in their house. It does not have to be in front of the bezdin, like the pasuk says, b'chol artzachem. But it only has to be in the first half of the day, in the time when bezdin is in session. Masiv Rav Sheishes asks a question from this brayse here. Shava hayovel Rosh Hashanah. Yovel is equal to Rosh Hashanah. Litkiye ulebrachis, to blow shofar and to say the brachas. Ella, but here's the difference. Shabi yovel taken. When it comes to yovel, you blow bein bebezdin shekitchu bayis hachodesh. So this is talking about when it falls out in Shabbos. So by yovel, they blew the shofar, whether it was in a bezdin that was mekadosh the chodesh. That's the Bezdin of 71, the Sanhedrin. That was Mekadosh the Chodesh. Bebe Bezdin Shaloi Kitchu Bayis HaChodesh. Or whether it was in a Bezdin that was not Mekadosh the Chodesh, a Bezdin of 23. And V'chol Yachid V'Yachid Chayav L'Tkaya. And also by Yovel, every individual has to blow shofar. Or by Rosh Hashanah, and then when it comes to Rosh Hashanah, Lo'hoyu Toikin Ela Bebezdin Shekitchu Bayis HaChodesh. If it fell out on a Shabbos, so they could blow in a Bezdin. But which Bezdin could blow? Only the Bezdin of 71. Only that Bezdin which is Mekadosh the Chodesh. So Rashi says, whose opinion is this? This is Rabbi Lazar's opinion of the Mishnah that said that when Rabbi Yochanan Mezaka instituted to blow the shofar in a Bezdin, it's only like a Bezdin of Yavne, which is the Bezdin of 71. And then the Braisa concludes, Ve'ein kol yachid v'yachid chayav l'tkaya. Regarding Rosh Hashanah, not every individual is obligated to blow shofar. Now, what does this mean? Fragt the Gemara, how do we learn pshat here in this brayse? Mai ein kol yachid v'yachid chayav l'tkaya. What does it mean that when it comes to Rosh Hashanah and it fell out in Shabbos, so every yachid cannot blow shofar? Only the bezdin blows the shofar. That's what it sounds like. If you're going to say the pshat is the be yovel toikin yechidin, that when it comes to yovel, every individual could blow the shofar on Yom Kippur, and even if it falls out in Shabbos. Uber Rosh Hashanah ain't toikin yechidin, but in Rosh Hashanah, if it fell out in Shabbos, so then only the bezdin or the shliach bezdin can blow. And according to this Braisa, according to Rabbi Lazar, only in the Bezdin of 71. But individuals cannot blow shofar even in front of the Bezdin, but that's not true. As we said before, Rav Yitzchak Bar Yosef reported that when the Shliach Tzibur, the Shliach of the Bezdin, finished blowing the shofar in Yavne by the Bezdin, people couldn't hear the sound in their ears because there was so much shofar being blown by individuals. So you see that when it comes to Rosh Hashanah that falls out in Shabbos, even individuals could blow the shofar as well. And according to what we said before, according to Rav Huna, that's in front of the Bezdin. But even individuals could blow the shofar. So what does this Braisa mean when it says that there's a distinction between Yovel and Rosh Hashanah, that Yovel, the Yachid, can blow, and Rosh Hashanah, the Yachid, cannot blow? But we know the fact is that even Rosh Hashanah, a Yachid can blow. So Elalav, don't you think the pshat on this Braisa is the ilu be yovel, when it comes to yovel, toikin bein bizman bezdin, bein shaloi bizman bezdin. Yovel, the individual has a choice. He can blow in the first half of the day when bezdin is in session, and he can also blow when bezdin is not in session. But Rosh Hashanah, however, on Rosh Hashanah, bizman bezdin in, the yachid can only blow the shofar when bezdin is in session. Shaloi bizman bezdin loy, but when the bezdin is not in session, you cannot blow the shofar. So that's how we'll interpret the words of the Braisa. When it says ein kol yachid v'yachid chayev l'tkaya, what the Braisa meant to say is when. When can't an individual blow in Rosh Hashanah? When the bezdin is not in session. So what do you see from this? Katani miyas. Now here's the question on Rav Huna. Well, again, what did Rav Huna say? That on Yovel, when you're blowing the shofar, it has to be dafka in the time when bezdin is in session. Sorry. Says the Gemara. Katani miyas. So what does it say over here? Be Yovel, bein bizman bezdin, bein shaloi bizman bezdin. That in Yovel, an individual could blow the shofar, whether it's the time when bezdin is in session, whether the bezdin is not in session. So this is a question on Rav Huna. So the Gemara answers and says, Loi, that's not how you read this Braisa. Rather, what it means is as follows. La'olam bizman bezdin. We're talking over here, even on Yovel, when the Yachid blows, he's required to blow only in the first half of the day when the bezdin is in session, like Rav Huna said. And Vahachi Katani, this is how you learn this Braisa. Be Yovel, when it comes to Yovel, Bizman Bezdin Taikin, in the first half of the day when Bezdin is in session, that's when everybody has to blow the shofar, and this is Bein Bifnei Bezdin, Bein Shaloi Bifnei Bezdin. And you blow the shofar whether you're in front of the Bezdin, whether you're not in front of the Bezdin. As we said before, it says in the Pasuk, B'chol Artzachem. So you have to blow everywhere and anywhere. But by Rosh Hashanah, when it comes to Rosh Hashanah, So Toikim Bizman Bezdin Ubifnei Bezdin. Rosh Hashanah, yes, every individual could blow shofar, but only in the time when Bezdin is in session, and also only in front of the Bezdin. Like Rav Huna said before, that you could only blow in front of the Bezdin. That is the difference between Rosh Hashanah and Yovel. Itmer Nami. Now we learned like this statement of Rav Huna as well in a Braise. Omer Rav Chia Bagamda, Omer Rav Yosi ben Shaul, Omer Rebbe, Ein Toikin Ela Kozman Shebezdin Yoshvin. That in Yovel, you don't blow the shofar, only even every individual that blows. And he's not blowing in front of the Bezdin. But you only blow in the first half of the day, in the time when Bezdin is sitting in session. Now regarding this halacha of Yovel, that you can only blow Yovel in the first half of the day when Bezdin is in session, so Rab Zera asked the question, Ninaru Lambait. What if the Bezdin moved themselves from their place, they already were getting ready to get up to go. But V'lo Yomdu, they didn't actually leave yet. They didn't fully get up and leave. So Mahu, what's the halacha? Bezdin Yoshvin Be'inon V'ha'ike. Is this considered to be still that the Bezdin's here? The Bezdin's still sitting here. They are still here, and therefore you can blow the shofar still then for the Yovel. Idilma Zman Bezdin Be'inon. You need to have the time. In other words, the first half of the day, which is the Zman and the Leke. It's not anymore the Zman, it's already Chatzais, and the Bezdin already moved to get up to go, and therefore it's not the Zman of Bezdin anymore, even though they're still there, and therefore you can't blow the shofar anymore on Yovel in this time. Teiku, the Gemara does not answer this question. The next thing, it's going back to our Mishnah. It said, that Yerushalayim had an advantage over the city of Yavne, that not only in Yerushalayim itself would they blow shofar when it fell out on Shabbos, but even in the cities that are near Yerushalayim. Now the Mishnah said a bunch of details, and the Gemara is going to go through all the details, what qualifies a city to be near Yerushalayim. So the Gemara, Roya, when it said in the Mishnah that it has to be a city that you can see from it, Yerushalayim. Pratli Yesheves Benachal. So this excludes a city that is down in a valley and you can't see Yerushalayim from there. So even though it's close, but it's in a valley. Shemas, the Mishnah says you have to be able to hear the sound of shofar from Yerushalayim. Pratli Yesheves Berei Shahar. So that excludes a city that's near Yerushalayim, but it's at the top of a mountain, so you can't hear from Yerushalayim, even though it's close, but it's on a mountain. Kroiva, then it said in the Mishnah, has to be near. Pratli Yesheves Chutz L'Tchum. So that means a city that's out of the Tchum is not considered to be near. You can't, it's out of the Tchum, you can't come on Yontif. And the V'Yechayla Lavai, then it says that you have to be able to come from this city to Yerushalayim. So that could be a city that's very, very nearby. You can hear, you can see, and it's in the Tchum, but Prat L'Mafsik L'Nara. But if there's a river that's separating this city from Yerushalayim, and you have to cross over this river, so then this is not considered to be close to Yerushalayim. Yeah, every Yovel. Yeah, and Yovel. No, you have to blow on Rosh Hashanah as well. Yeah, Yom Kippur. For Yovel, you have to blow Yom Kippur. Every person has to blow. That's what the pasuk says. That's when the. That's when the. No, it is. It's the Kiyas Shayf of Rosh Hashanah is Doiche Yovel. Is Doiche Yom Kippur. It's every Yom Kippur. It's Doiche Yom Kippur, and it's Doiche Yom Kippur Shachali is b'Shabbos also. Yeah.
Whatever you have to do in order for you to take effect.
Yeah. This is continuing, and here there's another takana of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. So in the beginning, which means when the Beis Hamikdash was standing, hoya lulav nitl b'mikdash shiva. So the lulav was taken 7 days, all days of Sukkot, and because as Rashi here brings, it says in the pasuk, "Smachtem lifnei Hashem alekechem shivas yamim." That 7 days is lifnei Hashem alekechem. Ubimedina, but in all other places, yom echad. Just 1 day. The first day was the lekachtem lachem. After the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, his kind of Yochanan ben Zakkai, instituted sheyeh lulav nitl b'medina shiva, that you also take the lulav for 7 days. Zeichel HaMikdash, to commemorate the way it was done at the Beis Hamikdash. Another thing Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai instituted, v'sheyeh yom henef kuloi aser. The entire day, which is the second day of Pesach, when you bring the Omer, you lift up the Omer in the Beis Hamikdash, and it's brought as a carbon to be then allowed to eat from the new crop of that year. So the entire day should be Aser, even though in the time of the Beis Hamikdash it was allowed from when the Omer was brought. And before, if Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai would have not made this takana, so as Rashi brings here, Minat Torah, it says Etzem Hayom Azeh, which would mean from the morning time. As soon as the essence of the day, which is the morning, as when the day arrives, it should be allowed already to eat the new grain. But Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai instituted that you have to wait until the end of the day. So What's the source for this concept that we have to do things to make a commemoration for the way it was done in the Beis HaMikdash? Because the pasuk says, Ki ala arucholach, I'll bring a cure for you. And I'll also heal you from your afflictions. No Hashem, the Eibishter says, Ki nitche karulach. Then the pasuk says that the Goyim referred to the Beis HaMikdash, Yerushalayim, a place which has been rejected after the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. Tzion hi doirish ein la, and Tzion, the Beis HaMikdash and Yerushalayim, doirish ein la. Nobody is seeking it out. No one cares for it. That's what the Goyim say. So what do you see from this Meklal de Bayidrisha? So from this you see that you should seek out Yerushalayim. You should constantly do things to make a commemoration for Yerushalayim and for the Beis HaMikdash. This is the source, Tzion hi doirish ein la, that you have to make a Zeichel HaMikdash. Another thing Rabbi Yochanan Mezaki instituted, that the whole entire day, when they brought the carbon oimer, should not be allowed until the end of the day. So here we have a Gemara, which is a review from the Gemara in Sukkah. My time, what's the reason for this? Why the whole day? Why not in the morning? When you don't have a carbon, it should be mutter right in the morning. Says the Gemara, Meheira Yabana Beis HaMikdash, because we believe and hope that immediately the Beis HaMikdash will be rebuilt. And then the Yoimro, and then when the Beis HaMikdash is going to be rebuilt, they're going to say, Ishtakid, last year, Mile Achalno Beheir Mizrach, did we not eat from the new grain right in the morning? So Achshav Nami Nechel, now as well we can eat from the new grain right in the morning. And V'layadi, they won't realize that Ishtakid Lo Have Oimer. Last year you did not have to bring the carbon oimer. So therefore Heir Mizrach Hitter. So right in the morning it's already allowed to eat from the new grain. But now that you have the carbon, that the Beis HaMikdash is here and you could bring the carbon, so oimer matter. Only if you bring the carbon, that's what allows you to eat from the new grain. So therefore Rabbi Yochanan Mezaka instituted that you should always wait until the end of the day. So now the Gemara wants to know what exactly happened there. The Mivni Amos. When exactly was the Beis HaMikdash built that you're concerned that this mistake can happen? If you're going to tell me the Beis HaMikdash was built on the very day that the Omer is brought, on the 16th day, the second day of Pesach that is, so if so, there should be no issue. Harei Heir Mizrach. So that morning, before the Beis HaMikdash was built, when it becomes light in the morning, so then that morning it should already be allowed to eat the new grain. So so that morning it already allowed you to eat the new grain for that year. So if the Beis HaMikdash was built that morning, you don't have to wait for the carbon oimer. Hello, so rather, what are you going to tell me? The Ivni B'Chameser. It was, when was it built? The Beis HaMikdash was built from Chameser. On the 15th day, a day before. Now when the Gemara says a day before, it doesn't mean necessarily one day before. It means a day before, a week before, a month before, 2 months before, any time before. The Beis HaMikdash was built some time before. Right? And now we're concerned that when it's going to come the day to bring the carbon oimer, people are not going to realize that you have to wait for the carbon oimer. They're going to think that it's mutter in the morning. So now the Gemara's question here is, so why did Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai institute to wait until the end of the day? From Chatzais going forward, that's when it should be allowed. In other words, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, if he's concerned that people are not going to wait for the carbon, it should be enough to make a takana that you have to wait until Chatzais, until midday. Why Chatzais? Because as the Gemara here will bring a Mishnah, by Chatzais you can be sure that the carbon oimer was brought already. The Hatnan, because we learned in the Mishnah where it says, Harachaikin, people that are far from the Beis HaMikdash, and they don't know exactly when the carbon oimer is brought, Mutarin mechatzais hayayim ulahalon. So they are allowed to eat, that is, the new grain from Chatzais going forward. Why? Because Lefisha Ein Bezdin Misatzlam Boy, because they could be sure that the Bezdin, this refers to the Bezdin there in the Beis HaMikdash, that was making sure that they bring the carbon on time, so they're not going to be lazy to bring it past Chatzais. So when Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai instituted that they should wait in order to be sure that they're not eating it before the carbon oimer, till Chatzais would be good enough. Why until the end of the day? So therefore the Gemara says, no, over here what we're speaking about is the Beis HaMikdash was built that night, the night before at Shkia time. Inami Divni Balaylia, or the Beis HaMikdash was built at night, right that night between the first and second night of Pesach. So what's the point? So as Rashi explains, because the Beis HaMikdash was just built that night, so usually they manage to bring the carbon by chatzais. But over here, because the Beis HaMikdash was just built the night before, there's so many things to do to prepare this carbon oimes. Rashi brings all the steps. They have to cut the wheat, and then all the steps they have to do to prepare it. Over here, it might take a full day. They might not bring the carbon oim until the end of the day. And therefore, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai instituted that you should always have to wait until the end of the day, since this may happen. The Beis HaMikdash may be built that very night, and then they're going to get delayed to bring the carbon until the end of the day. Now here there's a famous Rashi, and Rashi points out the same thing Rashi says in Sukkah as well. How can the Gemara say that maybe the Beis HaMikdash will be built at night, or on the night by Shkia, which is already Pesach? We know that the Beis HaMikdash is not allowed to be built not on Shabbos, not on Yom Tov, and not at night either. So Rashi answers, Elamai must be that here we're talking about the third Beis HaMikdash. It's not going to be built b'dei Adam. It's going to descend from heaven. It comes down b'dei Shemayim. And therefore that could happen even at night. Now the Gemara brings another pshat. This whole pshat we said till here is all premised on the understanding that without a carbon oimer, you would be allowed to eat from the new grain from the morning. When it says etzem hayom hazeh, you would be allowed to eat from the morning. But now the Gemara brings another opinion. Rav Nachman ben Yitzchak Amar Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai, he said in the name of Rav Yochanan, he said Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai b'shittis Rav Yehuda Amra. Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai, when he said wait until the end of the day when you can't bring a carbon oimer, he was going according to the opinion of Rav Yehuda. The Amar, Rav Yehuda said, Ad etzem hayom hazeh. What does it mean when it says in the pasuk that you don't eat the new grain until the essence of the day? Ad atzmai shel yom, until the essence of the day. V'kesavar, and he holds ad v'ad b'chlal. That includes this day itself, not until the day, which means till the morning, but until this day, including this day. Meaning you have to wait until at night. In other words, this was not really Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai's takana. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai holds this is the way it is min ha-Torah, that you have to wait until the end of the day. Fragt the Gemara, how could you say this? Does Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai agree to what Rabbi Yehuda said, that even min ha-Torah you have to wait until the end of the day? But v'hamiflik pligi alei, we know that he argued on Rabbi Yehuda. The Tanam, because we learned in the Mishnah where it clearly says this. Mishachara Beis HaMikdash. When the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, Hiskan Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai sheyayim henef kula yasser. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai instituted that you have to wait that entire day. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, came Rabbi Yehuda and said, V'halai min ha-Torah hu aser. I don't need you to institute this. Min ha-Torah it's aser. D'chsev at etzem hayom hazeh. Rabbi Yehuda says that at etzem hayom hazeh means including this day. You have to wait until the end of the day. So you see that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai did not agree to the drasha of Rabbi Yehuda that it includes this day. So the Gemara answers, Hasam Rabbi Yehuda hu de katoi. This was Rabbi Yehuda's mistake. He misunderstood what Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said. Iyu Sava, Rabbi Yehuda thought that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai midrabanan kama. That when Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai is coming and saying midrabanan, in other words, he is instituting this midrabanan. But v'loi, it's not true. Midrairaisa kama. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was saying you have to wait the whole day because min ha-Torah you have to wait the whole day. That's the meaning of ad etzem hayom hazeh, that you have to wait the whole day. Fragt the Gemara, but how could you say that? How could you say this? V'ha hiskin katani. It says here hiskin. What does hiskin mean? Hiskin means he instituted it. Not that it is this way in the pasuk min ha-Torah. And says the Gemara, my hiskin, what does the word hiskin mean? Darash ve hiskin. He came and darshan, he taught the people. He showed them what the pasuk means, and through this, he instituted that you have to wait the entire day. But not that it was his own institution. He was showing them what the pasuk means, that you have to wait the entire day. And what? This is all the Gemara here is bringing takanas of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai after the Churban. It's not related to Rosh Hashanah. Okay, Zok the Heilige Mishnah, another takana here from Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Bari Shaina, in the beginning, Hayim Mekablin Eidus HaChodesh Kol Hayom. They would accept the Eidus for the new month the entire day. On the 30th day of the month, the entire day they would accept a new Eidus. Pamachas, it was one time, and this was on Lamed Elul, on the 30th day of Elul. So now, Nishtau Eidim Milovai. The Eidim came very late into the day, and what happened? V'niskalkalu haLeviyim b'shir. And the Leviyim messed up with the song that they sang by the carbon tamid in the afternoon. They sang the song for the weekday. They thought that the Eidim didn't come yet, so therefore the Eidim are not coming anymore, so it's not going to be a Rosh Hashanah. The Rosh Hashanah is going to be tomorrow. So they sang the weekday song for the carbon tamid. And then the Eidim turn up, and now it turns out that retroactively it is Rosh Hashanah. So they sang the wrong song. So hiskinu shalayu mekablin elada mincha. So it was instituted that the Eidim could only be accepted up until mincha time, when you bring the carbon tamid. After that, you can't accept the Eidim anymore. If Eidim arrive later in the day, after they already brought the carbon tamid shel bein ha'arbayim, so then noyegim oisayim kaidish, they would finish keeping that day holy as one day of Rosh Hashanah, ulamacha kaidish, and they would keep the next day holy as Rosh Hashanah as well. So Rashi explains the way this would work is every single year when it came the night going into the 30th day of Elul, they would already start keeping it as Rosh Hashanah, because the Eidim might come tomorrow and make it Rosh Hashanah. So they would keep Rosh Hashanah already from the night before, right? But now either the Eidim ended up coming that day, and then they would know that that's Rosh Hashanah, or now they instituted that the Eidim, if the Eidim didn't arrive from Mincha Lamaila, so then they don't accept the Eidim until the next day. So then the Aleph will actually be on the 31st day, the next day, and that day would not be Kodesh. So therefore, really, once they don't accept the Eidim, so then they should only keep Rosh Hashanah the following day. But nevertheless, they instituted that they should complete keeping that day Kodesh. As Rashi says, the reason is, for another year, for the following year, they should not make a mistake. People should not be mezalzel and say, oh, maybe the Eidim are not going to come, so maybe this is not really the day of Rosh Hashanah. But maybe the Eidim will come. So therefore they always instituted that they should keep that day holy, and then the next day holy as well. These were the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah. So this is the way it was in the time of the Beis HaMikdash. Mishachar of Beis HaMikdash, but now after the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, his Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, so Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai instituted shiur mekablem edus hachodesh kol hayom, that you should be able to accept the edus the entire day. There's no issue of the song of the carbon being in the wrong song, so therefore now you can be mekabel edus for Rosh Hashanah the entire day. Zok the Gemara, ma kilkul alavim. What exactly was the mistake that the Leviim made b'shir with the song that they sang in the Beis HaMikdash? So there's two opinions here. Hacha targimu, here in Bavel, what they said is shalei amru shira kol iker. They didn't sing anything because they weren't sure what song to sing by the Tamid shel bein ha'arbayim. They didn't know if the Eidim are still going to come or not going to come, so they didn't sing anything. That was the problem. Rab Zera says, She'omru shira shel chayil im tamid shel bein ha'arbayim. The problem was that they sang the weekday song. They saw the Eidim didn't arrive yet, so they figured the Eidim are not coming anymore, so they sang the weekday song. That was the problem. By the way, there's a long Taisus here, if you see, and one of the main things Taisus discusses is, why is the Gemara only, or the Mishnah only discussing the mistake with the song of the carbon tamid? Why aren't we discussing the carbon musaf? That until the Eidim don't come, they don't know if they can bring the carbon musaf. And then once the carbon tamid shel bein ha'arbayim is brought, you can't bring the carbon musaf anymore. So isn't that a bigger problem, that they can't bring the carbon musaf? So after a long discussion, Taisus says that no, the carbon musaf, even though usually you don't bring it after the carbon tamid shel bein ha'arbayim, but in such a case you would be allowed to bring it. The mitzvah of bringing the carbon musaf is an essa of the rabbim, that's carbon tzibur, and it's doiche, the essa that you're not allowed to bring a carbon after the carbon tamid, and they would be allowed to bring it later. So that was not the issue.
Only one time.
Huh?
That's only one time.
Yeah, we had once the Gemara. It only happened one time. Okay, Zok the Gemara, Amalei Rab Zeire la'ave berei. Rab Zeire said to Ave his son. Okay, so Rab Zeire was the one that said that the mistake was not that they didn't say any song, the mistake was that they said the song from Chayil. So he tells his son, Puk tni luhu, go teach to those people in Bavel the following braise, which will prove my opinion. What does it say in the braise? Hiskinu shlayiyah mekablan edus hachodesh. They instituted not to accept the edus for the new month. Ella kadesh yeshus b'yayim, only in the time that there should be time in the day lahakriv tmidin umisafin v'niskeyen, when you could still bring the carbon tamid and the musaf and the nesachim and the loima shira, so then that they can say the shira of the tamid shel bein ha'arbayim shaloi b'shibush, without a mistake. Now, what does this expression of saying the song without a mistake mean? So Rab Zeira says, I amrit b'shloime amor shirid chayil. If the issue was that they said a song, but the problem was they said the weekday song. Hainu the ikke shibush. That's what it means that there's a mistake here. They said the wrong song. Eli yomret loy amor klal. If the mistake was that they said no song whatsoever, so my shibush ikke. So why is the Braisa saying that this is a mistake? It's not a mistake. They didn't say anything. The shibush sounds like there was a mistake that they said the wrong song. So the Gemara says no. Kivin deloy amor klal. Since, according to that opinion, they didn't say any song whatsoever, ein lecha shibush gadol mizeh. That itself is the biggest mistake. Mistake doesn't only mean that they said the wrong song. Mistake means that they didn't say any song whatsoever. So there's no raya from here to Rav Zera's opinion. The Gemara brings now another brayse, Mosav Rav Acha bar Huna. Rav Acha bar Huna asked a question. It says in the brayse as follows: Tamid shel Rosh Hashanah shachris karev kehil chosai. The carbon tamid shachar in the morning they would bring according to the halacha, and they would always sing the song over there in the carbon tamid shel shachar. So what would they sing in the carbon tamid shel shachar? They would sing the weekday song. Rashi here explains that when it came to the carbon tamid shel shachar, because they weren't sure if Edom are going to come, so the lechatchila instituted always to sing the weekday song in the morning. The issue was with the carbon tamid shel bein arbayim. Over there, they were supposed to sing the Yom Tiv song if the Edom come. But the carbon tamid shel shachar, that's over there, they was always instituted to sing the weekday song. The Musaf Ma'u Eimer. Now, what was the song that the Leviim sang by the Musaf of Rosh Hashanah? So they sang Harninu Lelekim Uzeinu, Hariyu Lelekei Yaakov. So this is the pasuk in Tilim, which is related to Hariyu, to blow shofar. B'mincha Ma'u Eimer. By the carbon tamid of the afternoon, what's the pasuk that they would sing then? Koil Hashem Yochel Midbar. Also connected to blowing shofar. Now, the Braisa says, "Ubizman shechol Rosh Hashanah liyas b'chamishi b'Shabbos." When Rosh Hashanah falls out on a Thursday, shahashira shaloi. Now, what is this song that the Leviim sang every Thursday in the morning by the carbon tamid shel shachar? So, as we say this every Thursday, what did we see? What would they sing in the morning? Harninu lelekim uzeinu. They would sing this pasuk of Harninu lelekim uzeinu. So therefore, if they would sing this song by the Tamid Shel Shachar, and then they would sing the same song by the Karban Musaf, they would be repeating the same song twice. So therefore, Lo Haya Oime B'Shachris Harninu, they would not sing the song of Harninu by the Karban Tamid Shel Shachar, which was the usual song for the Thursday, because they're going to then be repeating the very same song for the Musaf, and we don't want to sing the same song twice. Ella, rather, what would they sing? Mahu Aimer. What would they sing in the morning by the Tamid Shel Shachar? Another part of this capital. Hasiraisi Misevel Shichmai, which is referring to Yosef being freed from prison, which also happened on Rosh Hashanah. So this is all if the Edom already arrived in the morning before the carbon Tamid Shel Shachar, so they know for sure that it's the Yontiv of Rosh Hashanah. So in order not to repeat the same mizmar, the same song by the Tamid Shel Shachar and then by the Musaf, so they would switch it if it fell out on a Thursday. Now the Braisa continues, Vimbo Edim Acha Tamid Shel Shachar. But if the Edom arrived after the Tamid Shel Shachar, so now when it came to the Tamid Shel Shachar, they weren't yet sure if this is going to be a Yontiv of Rosh Hashanah or not. So Oime Harninu, they can say the capital, the mizmar of Harninu, Afal Pi Shechayzer V'Kaifel Esapedik. Even though it's possible that if Edom arrive and then they're going to bring the Karban Musaf that day, they're going to be saying the same song twice. So only if they knew for sure that it's Rosh Hashanah, then they would switch the song in the morning. But if they weren't sure, they would say the capital Harninu in the morning, even though they might have to repeat it again afterwards in the afternoon. So now the Gemara explains how this is a question on what we said before, the machlekes regarding the kilkul that happened. So the Gemara says like this: now if you're going to say that kol echad mistapke, anytime we have a doubt what to say, when they weren't sure in the Beis Hamikdash what song to sing, Amrin on Shir de Chayil, so we sing the weekday song, Hainu de Ka'amar, so this is what this Bryce is saying as well, Oimroi v'kaifloi, that in the morning, if the Edom did not come yet, so they would say the song of Harninu, which was the weekday song of the Thursday, and then they're going to say that very song again for the Musaf. So in other words, when you don't know what do, you say the weekday song. So that's like the opinion of Rab Zera, or Rab Zera. Eli Amrit Loi Omer Klal. However, according to the opinion of the people in Bavel, that they said that if you don't know what to sing, you just don't sing anything. So my Oimrei v'Kaifloi. Why is this Bryce saying that if the Edom did not yet come in the morning, so they're not sure if they're going to have a Karban Musaf or not? So what do? They sing the song in the morning, and then they're going to say it again in the afternoon. Why should they sing it again? Why should they sing it in the morning? If they're not sure if the Edom are going to come, they shouldn't sing anything, because then they might have to sing it twice, and we don't want to sing it twice. So the Gemara says, no, there's no raya from here. Why not? Shani Hasam, over there it's different. The Shirei the Yaimehi. This is the song for the day. Over here, what's the whole issue? The issue is that you might sing the same song twice. Okay, but even if you sing it twice, it is the song of the day. Right? Because this is the Thursday, and therefore this is the song that they always sing on this day, and therefore you're not singing a song that doesn't belong for this day. Whereas in our Mishnah, we were discussing something else. We don't know if it's Yontif, and we don't know if it's a day of Chayil and it's not a Yontif, and over here you're going to be singing the wrong song. It's not Shaykh B'chlal to this day. So the Chacham of Bavel, they said when you have a situation that you don't even know if it's for this day, then they say you don't sing anything. But over here, since the only issue is that you might be repeating the same song again, but it is the right song for the day, so over here, even if you don't know, you don't want to repeat it, but even if you don't know, you will sing the song because it is the right song for the day.